with that hero. So they're going to go ahead pick it up again
Why
here.
Why not? The numbers back it up.
Oh, and they're going to go with Sky. Interesting.
We've seen VONC on Sky just a handful of times. It's only been like 2 or 3 games that they've played, but when it works, it has looked absurdly dominant.
All right, Gangstars, they got to think about their last pick here. They probably weren't expecting the Sky. I can't imagine they were expecting that Sky. But, you know, does that make them want to change their mind? Are they still thinking about Blackfeather if they're along the same thought line as us?
I think the Blackfeather would still work out very well for them. You know, you have that opportunity to build the Poison Shiv. It's one of Xenotek's better heroes, as Suijay was saying. He's won most of the games with it. It's actually about a 71% win rate for him on the Blackfeather, and it's one of their most played heroes to go along with that, having played it, I believe, 7 times now, or 8 times now with this game included. So definitely
his Blackfeather play, he told me he doesn't even like the hero. So it's like someone being held down against his will, just playing a spectacular Blackfeather for us to watch. Dance, Marky, dance!
I have this vision of just like IRaqizorro holding, I don't know, like Xenotek's makeup hostage. Like, you play it well. You can't be the Ghoul King otherwise. But, I don't know. Just mind goes to weird places sometimes. Right. But Xenotek is on the Blackfeather again. We'll have to see if they can repeat some of their past successes here with it. But BestChuck, VONC, Sky, FlashX here on top of this ladder. It seems like almost a kind of standard comp from TSM.
Yeah, no, this is very 2.3 here. It's nothing out of the ordinary from TSM. You know, I expect to see this in every one of my solo queue games if the draft goes well for us in solo queue. And TSM have a really strong composition, you know. But you know, from Gangstars, despite our jokes, despite our our puns, like, they're very good at this composition from Gangstars. You know, IRaqizorro, his Adagio is really good. Xenotek, his Blackfeather is like spectacular. I love watching it. And Rekt, he's a really good lance. So when you put it all together, they've got some really strong hero picks, as Rekt almost finds a Giphian wall to stop BestChuck from going home.
Yeah, I kind of did a double take. Just like, oh, what? And yeah, he missed, but that's fine. It doesn't really affect too much at this point. Now, compared to the last game, I would expect to see something of a slower matchup. Maybe it's a 12-minute snowball win from TSM last round. These kind of heroes that they take this time feels like it'll be something more towards the mid-game dominance, late-game dominance, as VONC will scale up very nicely, VONC will scale up very nicely. But at the same time, it's TSM. They are known for aggressive plays, especially VONC out in the jungle. Like, why would he farm the jungle if he just farmed you instead? So I'm keeping an eye on VONC, but I would definitely expect something a little slower this round from them.
Yeah, no, try and slow down the pace, make sure that they don't allow Gangstars to kind of get on top of them with it. You know, TSM, they love playing a slow and calculated style, and they certainly want to get this guy into a good position. Oh! BestChuck, oh no! That was a great prediction coming out of Rekt, and he just read Chuck like a book. First blood gonna go IRaqizorro's way, and what an immense impale from Rekt.
Rekt, yeah, I saw this, like, that's not gonna hit, and then BestChuck kind of just reflexed at that point. It's like, all right, somebody's coming at me, Sonic Zoom, nuts. All right, yeah, so Rekt, really good stuff. Got some of the first kill, and so we'll have to see if Gangstars will continue on with that trend. But they were also all up in the lane, right? That happened because all 3 of them were there. They were able to combine power. TSM kind of was nowhere at that point. I think FlashX was just coming back from jungle. VONC was off doing his own thing there as well. So a little bit earlier grouping was rewarded here from Gangstars.
Yeah, certainly, and this is exactly what they want. Get that early kill onto Iraqi, try and get the alternating current going early. If he then itemizes down some movement speed, perhaps journey boots early, and Gangstars are able to, you know, get on top of this Sky, on top of this VONC early, then they could do work. But Xenotek's in trouble. He is in a lot of trouble as VONC is charging forward. Rekt going to be the new target as they pop their boots to outrun. But can they outrun a forward barrage? VONC wants the kill. Has he got fear, VONC? No, he's got backs in mind, and Xenotek to find in the jungle. This is going to be a siege on all fronts. Xenotek in trouble as he gets aggressed onto Rekt coming up to try and support him. Can they turn this around? They're going to look to do so. VONC's dipping and diving. Giphian wall. There's the Impale as well. But BestChuck is behind them. TSM going to turn this around with a double kill for FlashX.
I mean, they expected FlashX to come through, but they did not expect a BestChuck to be there as well. And yeah, that was actually really good play from the Gangstars because you saw Rekt, he walked out, he made sure VONC was between him and the wall. He's able to get the Githyan, able to get the Impale, but a 3v2 already hurt from the previous encounter. Yeah, it's just too much right there. So 2-1. And I felt like Xenotek actually might have been able to get the kill. He did miss his on points that fight. Had those actually landed, might have been enough of a difference. But that's going to go under the what if category for now.
The what if. I love that. Love that pile on my desk. All those, 50, 2020. Man, my mind is not in the right spot
50-50 hindsight? Is that what you're going to go with? All right. Dusty.
I have all the best hindsights here, Forecourt. Mine is 50-50. Yours is 2020.
Yeah, I bow down. Yeah.
But yeah, it is always that case. But instead of reflecting on the past, let's look towards the future. TSM, they've got themselves a 1,000 gold lead at this early stage. Gangstars, they want to continue putting aggression on top of BestChuck, and they're going to dive forward. But here comes VONC, level 6, and he's got to trap them all into the fight with a death from above. Fountain keeps BestChuck alive. VONC with the 4 barrage, straight onto Xenotek and FlashX. He wants to go forward. The Githyan wall going to push them back for now. Iraqi now has to move his butt, or he's going to get chased down by VONC. There it is, the forward barrage. Xenotek, though, will not go down, and Rekt gets out of dodge. Gangstars are so low, and I can't see TSM letting this turret go without looking for it.
It's very likely going to be dropping here, Dazzy. Big problem with that fight is that Gangstars expected the 3v1 up against BestChuck, did not expect the 3v3. They were not equipped. If they had any idea that was happening, they wouldn't have done it.
That's, wow, just a kill going over. Like, they trade their lives, and actually, you know what? I think trading their suits Gangstars, it means that they can't siege the turret anymore, and they don't necessarily lose anything for it.
Well, they lost out VONC, but you're right. It's a better trade for Gangstars because they're behind. They were being pressured out, and they've actually given a lot of time here for regen here as well. But the reason that 3v3 would not have happened if they had known all 3 was there is Rekt just got Fountain now. He did not have Fountain that fight. It was a big difference between the offensive pressures right there. TSM was able to turtle up between Lyra and her Fountain, and you saw the difference, right? Like by the end of the match, TSM virtually unscratched by that, but whereas it was not the same for Gangstars. That's why TSM was pushing the turret, because they knew that there was not going to be the same level of sustain.
We saw this last week from Xenotek. He got himself a Shimmer Steel first item, didn't get the Serpent's Mask first, the Breaking Point first, straight into utility. I get the idea behind it. It's, we landed Impale, and then Xenotek slows them, and Iraqi lays down tons of damage with his newly acquired Alternating Current, but it just didn't work out last week.
And it didn't work out a little bit earlier today with the Shiver Steel on the Black Feather, but I'm a little concerned that Xeno, if he doesn't even go into like any of the lifesteal out there available, like a Serpent's Mask or that Poison Shiv, he might actually have some sustain problems up against this, because BestChuck and VONC do have some pretty decent kiting maneuvers available to them.
Not only that, we got this sustain build coming out of BestChuck. Goldmine has started up, Gangstars charging forward, they do slow VONC, and actually the damage is coming out. That's the Shimmer Steel coming out in great sights. And oh no, BestChuck rooted, that's going to be 2 kills going over to Gangstars as they make the moves work. That's what I was talking about, if they can slow down the priority targets and get IRaqizorro on top of them, then the Shiver still works out really well for Gangstars, and actually this time they're making it work great. This is a little bit risky though. They're fighting over a Crystal Sentry, and Iraqi's tanking up. They look like they will get it, and actually no one from TSM apart from FlashX are really in the range to stop them, so it's just going to be more gold going Gangstars' way.
Flash didn't see the one back in the bush, but flares out the other. And just a really good pick. Like, Rekt is just absolutely nailing these Githyan walls. He's nailing these impales. He's setting up, and Xenotek, he's still low even after that fight. I still would highly recommend into some kind of lifesteal down the line. But for now, that's just some real good momentum going over to Gangstars. Like 4-3, they've caught up a little bit of the gold. It's not a big difference between them. BestChuck, on the other hand, look at his sustain. He not only has a Lyra to go with that fountain that she's going to be carrying, but he's going into the double lifesteal himself. And there's his Shiv, and there's his Serpent's Mask.
Yeah, in this scenario, it makes a lot of sense. I can't remember who it was. It was one of the North American pros. They criticized this build and said, people need to stop building it unless it makes sense. But in this kind of scenario, it makes a lot of sense because you've got Blackfeather who heals with the Serpent's Mask. You have IRaqizorro who's going to heal with his own abilities. So, and because Blackfeather's going to be diving forward on top of your face, BestChuck wants to try and sustain and get into the defensive tree as soon as possible to try and withstand that damage. So, I can fully see in this scenario why you would go that double sustain build. We'll just have to see if it works out, if VONC can be enough of a threat to really allow BestChuck to stack up his breaking point when he optimizes into it. But now more siege coming out of TSM. Gangstars are actually split here, and they're not looking the healthiest. This could be a turret going for TSM.
Xenotek's going to be able to come back fairly healthy, but yeah, Wreck's a little bit worse for wear at this point. The last note I'm going to bring up about the Shiver Steel is the timing of it is actually great, because Wreck is looking for an engage.
Yeah, well, he's not going to find one able to combat roll, but there's the wait for it. That's going to be TSM looking for the engages. FlashX goes forward, but Xenotek wants the fight. On points both the carries, as that's going to be FlashX in trouble. Big burst of judgment, but it doesn't quite find the damage necessary, and that's going to be kills going both ways. But BestChuck with a double means TSM get the best of it, and Iraqi, he is on an escape route. He does not want any part of this turret siege.
So, a really kind of gutsy engager from Wrecked. He hit the boots, he looked for a target, couldn't find one, and then kind of made a U-turn at the end of the little bit of a jog that he had right there. TSM was able to lay in a little bit of damage, then the re-engage happened, but already, you know, there's that big disadvantage there from Gangstars. So they trade it 2 for 1. They lose out turret by the end of it, though, because they just do not have anybody left on the fold at that point. So definitely a big win for TSM. They go ahead 2,000 gold or so. And Xenotek, like, when we had this Shiver Steel first, like, the timing of it was great because there's no reflexes, there's no atlases, no nothing out there, right? So they found those kills, and then he gets into the Serpent's Mask. That fight, though, FlashX had the Atlas ready to go. We didn't really have the reflexes. We still don't actually have the reflexes here. It's from Xenotek to deal with that. So as soon as he went in, he got reflexed, and that will curb down not only the sustain from him, but the damage out there as well. And, you know, there's not really, you know, an Atlas available here from Gangstars yet. Like, Xeno's just gone into his tier 2 armor, Wrecked into the tier 2 armor there as well. So you're probably going to see the double sometime soon, but this is still a real good situation for TSM.
Yeah, it's going to be Gangstars looking to fight here. They're looking to get straight onto the backline, and that's a big impale, but they're just so healthy, this backline. There's not enough damage coming out of Gangstars. Iraqi was not able to get into the fight. Oh god, this is going to be destruction! There it is, an ace for TSM, a double for BestChuck, and you know what? I'm looking at the builds here, and BestChuck is just shutting down and sustaining so much. If Xenotek does not get a poison shift, then there's no way Iraqi or Gangstars are really able to lay down the damage onto this box. That's my prediction.
It's definitely a big difference in power when it comes to the healing or the sustain between the two teams. Like, yes, FlashX has himself the sigil, but he also has that fountain. But that mortal wounds means that, you know, TSM can blow up whoever they really wish, and they blew up Wrecked. You know, one of the tankier members of the team. He's going to be that Captain Lance. He's typically not the guy you focus down, but the reduction in healing, the damage output between him and between BestChuck and VONC was just way too much for Wreck to handle. And again, there's no Atlas here to curb down BestChuck either. They trade out 3 for 1 that time, as VONC did drop. You know, Xenotek able to at least get a kill from it, but yeah, it's just such a mid-game like comp from TSM, and it's working out great.
The Gangstars want another fight, this time perhaps maybe on the same page. Xenotek dives onto VONC, but the rest are going on to BestChuck, and
wow.
BestChuck is just cleaning house. First kill goes to VONC, BestChuck in the midst of it all, and he's going to take down Xenotek, and Wrecked, well, he can't go anywhere. It's a double for VONC, and Xenotek and the Gangstars, they're just trying desperately to catch TSM, you know, out in the wilderness, but TSM are storming ahead in these fights, and it just feels like Gangstars are throwing more and more gold their way.
It's looking very dire for this choke point turret. Not entirely convinced it's going to drop, but an immense gold payout is going to be the TSM reward, as we just pushed it lane. BestChuck takes the jungle there as well, and all of a sudden you call it 5,000 gold between these teams. We don't have the damage from Gangstars, and conversely as well, they don't have the defense. That's going to be an Atlas here from Xenotek, so prospects went up a little bit right there, but BestChuck is already into that Aegis, and VONC does not care about your Atlas whatsoever. So it's already like, as soon as these power spikes come online for Gangstars, we're just one step ahead from TSM due to just the way that the fights have kind of come out and the results are just very clear.
Yeah, you know, the defensive tree, this is what makes this build so powerful for BestChuck, is that he is almost full build at 14.5 minutes as far as offensive and defensive items are concerned. And, you know, it's just not the same story when you look across the board. Iraqi hasn't even finished his 3rd damage item yet. And they're struggling, Gangstars, to really make these engages work unless they can burst down BestChuck currently in the state of game that they're at, unless the poison shiv is, you know, bought and he doesn't get the healing that he needs through his double sustain build, then it just seems impossible to kill the box in the middle of the fight. It's like you're gonna really need some massive burst to come forward.
Dang, looks like I'm having a technical difficulty here, Mr. Dowsey.
No worries. Well, it is 15 minutes,
now.
and Kraken, she's gonna join us once more, my beauty, on the map to witness some great Vainglory action. We do see the infusions come forward for TSM. They've got those level 12s going, and Gangstars, well, they're both all going back to base looking to purchase up some items. That's going to be metal, jacket completed, and the infusions coming out for both Xenotek and Rekt. So Gangstars recognizing the next fight is really important. They even get that infusion onto Rekt for the increased stun and root durations on his abilities. But there's so much vision available to TSM on the map here for Court. And it just TeamSoloMid, they know exactly where Gangstars are the entire time. They can't really step anywhere without TSM knowing.
It's hard to get a gank off in that regard. Like, if everything's scouted out, there's no surprises. You can't pull anything out of your hat. And looking for the engage, like that metal jacket on Vox, just I think just seals the deal. I don't think BestChuck's going to die at all this game.
It doesn't seem like it. Iraqi has one of his own, so we'll have to see if that's enough to keep him alive in these fights. But TSM, they're rounding, looking for Gangstars. Gangstars going to see that flare fly out. They have an idea that TSM are ready to fight. Another infusion comes out for Iraqi here. So everyone's infused for Gangstars, and TSM, what they're doing is just pushing down the lane here. Gangstars are forced to, you know, make the rotate over at risk of losing their choke point turret. Perhaps they look for a fight, try and catch TSM out. Iraqi's certainly looking to try and stack up that broken myth, and Xenotek's going to come around the side as well. This could be a chance to catch someone out and maybe blow them up. Rekt knocks everyone away, and they're going to look to try and get onto the back line. That death from above is going to hold Rekt in position, but Iraqi is behind them. VONC's in trouble. They're going onto the sky this time, but it's going to allow BestChuck so much room to just do work. An Impale lands on top of him, but he's going to get blown up by Xenotek. They managed to do it this time, but VONC will find a return. Doesn't matter. Iraqi gets the kills, and without BestChuck in the fight, Gangstar's going to take the fight here. FlashX, well, he's most likely going to get away. He is Lyra, he has himself a portal, and he has a turret to get to as well. So Gangstars with a 2-for-1, we'll have to see what they can get for it.
Well, a little bit more unexpected, but I mean, Gangstars in the defense holding means that they gotta push and get as many objectives as they can with just such a short amount of time with those death timers.
Yeah, no, it's a hard task. There's no turrets really available. The minion wave was too far back. So they're really just looking to try and steal away as many camps here, but Aegi's going to be completed for IRaqizorro, so he's got himself his defensive items, and what a big difference it makes when Xenotek is able to get onto the backline and really slow down his opposition. It just allows Iraqi to get in there and do damage.
Well, maybe the Shiver Steel will work out in the end after all. I'm still just not super sold on it today, though, Dowsy. It's not been having a great success rate.
It's, yeah, it can be hit and miss. Sometimes you even see Black Feathers sell it towards the end of a game to pick up perhaps like a Poison Shiv. But we'll have to see. Xenotek hasn't even been able to get into his third damage item yet. If you could call Shiver Steel a damage item, I guess it's not really. He's just been
really
stuck
not.
in a... It's not, right? It's an offensive item for sure, don't get me wrong. But we're going to see another fight as Rekt looks for it. This Kraken's been started up, and oh no, Rekt is in so much trouble. Mortal wounds and the engage coming out. He gets bursted on down. Oh, Gangstars are caught between a Kraken and the rest of TSM as BestChuck's going to finish off Iraqi, and VONC is looking for Xenotek. A huge series strike, looking for the forward barrage as well.
Oh, poor
Xenotek, he
Xeno.
can't get out of here, and he's going to get taken down for an ace, and the minion wave, it's set up for BestChuck to push into the base. They're going to be able to find themselves a choke point if they want it, and actually falling back, just going to let the minions do the work. It's Kraken time for TSM.
A minion wave, like, perfectly positioned just to kind of follow that up. So choke point, turret, and Kraken is going to be putting Gangstars onto their last life here. I might want to phone a friend and see what else they can do in order to bring this one back. But yeah, I thought for perhaps a little bit more of a resurgence. You know, finally maybe that mid game treating them well, but. Man, like VONC just tearing through. BestChuck full build is really hard to deal with this early on. Did he actually finish off those boots? Well, he did.
Yep.
He is full, all done. You're at the 40,000 gold mark. I mean, typically this is where you start seeing people max out, but BestChuck 6-3, 173 of those last hits, and just doing wonders with the double sustain.
Yeah, as said, you know, unless Gangstars can blow up BestChuck, then he sustains through the fight so easily, and we have seen Xenotek successfully being able to blow him up, but now with the Kraken pushing into the base, it's going to be an unlikely story here for Gangstars. TSM looking to take this one, but a good impale straight onto BestChuck. Xenotek's in the middle of it all, but Iraqi is in the death from above, and Xenotek's losing his life in the process. He gets the heals, he's charging forward, they're trying to kill BestChuck here, but Iraqi can't get into the fight, and that's going to be Xenotek falling with the last auto attack. Iraqi goes down as well, and it just leaves wrecked all on his Losum as he rushes over the wall. He's going to try and port back to base, but he's not even porting. This is done. This is dusted. TSM are going to take game 2 of this series over Gangstars.
And that completes everything into a 2-0 today, but again, like first game from these guys, the big rush down, the snowball, set themselves up, they're feeling good, they come into this game, and a little bit shaky, you know, I gotta say, you know, Gangstars definitely one of those top teams. They're able to